near Steinhatchee, Florida, tropical storm Debby now has made landfall this morning. It was a Category 1 storm when it hit, and the small community roughly 20 miles from where Hurricane Idalia crashed ashore less than a year ago. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Storm surge is expected to be the biggest threat for Florida with 6 to 10 feet, and record-setting rain could pummel coastal Georgia and South Carolina as the storm heads north toward us. We have team coverage of Debby, but we begin in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with Elizabeth Gardner and where Debby is now.
The storm will continue to move slowly to the north and east across Georgia, back out here into the Atlantic, and then past Charleston and up toward North Carolina. At least the center of circulation will. Look at this. The center of circulation, though, is down here just southeast of Tallahassee. Look at all the rain that's out in front of it. It stretches all the way up through South Carolina, pretty much to Myrtle Beach. So there's a lot of rain on the north side of the center. And so we're not going to be talking so much about the center going forward. We're going to be talking about all the rain that's stretched out ahead of it. Right now, it is moving northeast at 8 miles per hour. It still has winds at 70, so it's a strong tropical storm at this point. So for Florida, they're still going to have some potential with trees down and tough travel because of those strong winds. But as the storm moves northward, those winds will weaken, and this is really going to be all about the rain. It's going to be a slow mover as it moves across southeast Georgia. It's going to have time to dump a lot of heavy rain. You can see by the time we get to the day on Thursday, it's moving past Charleston and then eventually up past North Carolina. This is 8 a.m. on Friday. That's 8 a.m. on Saturday. So we're going to be dealing with this system for quite some time, possibly all the way into the day on Saturday. We now have tropical storm warnings all the way up almost to Myrtle Beach along the South Carolina coast, and we may have some tropical storm warnings along our coast. But again, this is mostly going to be a rain event. For our viewing area from the Triangle area northward, 6 to 8 inches of rain, and our southern counties 8 to 10. It's going to be 10 to 16 down in Wilmington, but there's going to be a patch where we could end up seeing as much as 20 or 30 inches of rain. That's mostly going to be for South Carolina. We'll take a closer look at that coming up in just a little while. For us, we may have some isolated thunderstorms this afternoon unrelated to Debby. We'll start to see some coastal rain bands, especially down around the Wilmington area later this afternoon. The first rain bands here will arrive tomorrow. Could be as early as the morning, but definitely by the afternoon we should see that, and then we'll continue to see more of the heavy rain along the coast. Right now, Wednesday through Friday, looks like when we would have the heaviest rain and the best chance for flooding. 20 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts are possible as well. Coming up, we're going to go through Futurecast and show you when the first rain bands may arrive and when that heaviest rain gets to where you are.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center as we continue to track Debby. This is a live look at RDU. Obviously, we are not seeing any of that weather here yet. Blue skies, some clouds in the skies, but obviously Florida dealing with a lot of delays and cancellations. Right now, Raleigh-Durham, 47 delays and 33 cancellations. This has steadily gone up through the morning and now into the afternoon. But if you look here at Charlotte, a couple hours west of us, 121 delays, 157 cancellations. That has gone up by a lot. I've been watching it all morning long. And then, of course, Orlando right in the middle of that storm right now. 199 delays and 250 cancellations. So definitely, if you have a flight today, always check the status before you leave the house.
Michelle, thanks. Our team coverage of Debby continues with WRAL's Chelsea Donovan, who joins us now live with a look at how North Carolina is preparing for Debby when it does get here. Chelsea.
Absolutely. We know that it's churning up the coastline. And of course, nobody's more ready than the state EOC here in Raleigh. And joining us now to talk about the preparations here on the state side is Justin Graney with the Comms Department. Tell us a little bit about the situation here at the Emergency Operations Center. I know that you guys are really on full alert right now.
Yeah, so the state EOC moved to an enhanced status this morning, which places emergency managers at the state level with a focus on assisting our locals with resource allocation and where do we need to shift resources to best address the situation at hand.
I know a lot of the residents are going to be turning to you to get the latest information, and you told me one of the greatest concerns right now is flooding with already saturated grounds. Tell me a little bit about some of those warnings that you wanted to make sure residents were aware of.
So we are concerned with flooding and the additional rain that's going to come. A lot of areas saw flooding this weekend, and we're going to continue to see a lot of rainfall throughout the state. The specifics on the amounts continues to update as we get more and more forecast information. The time to prepare, though, is now. If you've not already done so, want North Carolinians to please go to readync.gov. You need to prepare a disaster kit for your home and have a plan of action in case it's needed for a disaster.
Another thing that you mentioned to me is about flooded rivers, streams, things like that. And you have a great resource, Feynman, I believe it is. That's a good resource for people to have, of course, to know kind of those flood-prone areas.
Yes, it is. It's the North Carolina Flood Inundation Mapping and Alert Network, and you can access it by going to feynman.nc.gov, and it gives people access to the state's nearly 480 flood and river gauges. And you can also sign up for alerts to your mobile device or email address for the gauges closest to your home. And
we appreciate you. We know you're not, you're at the enhanced level now, not fully mobilized, but it's not out of the question as the storm continues to head our way.
No, we'll continue to adjust with the impacts to North Carolina as the forecasts become more refined.
Okay. We'll have more from the state in our later newscasts, as well as Wake County government and Duke Energy to make sure that you're safe with Tropical Storm Debby. Live in Raleigh, Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
Raleigh City crews began preparing for Debby over the weekend by lowering lake levels. The city's emergency management services and stormwater team has been closely monitoring this and made the call early to lower city lakes. This allows them to store more water and helps to reduce flooding concerns along Walnut Creek. Over on the Carolina coast, rough water is picking up at Wrightsville Beach. Rescue workers are warning people to stay out of the water as conditions become more dangerous. You can prepare for Debby by downloading the WRAL News app. It'll help you stay on top of the storm developments. You can download the app for free from the Apple and Google app stores.